My name is Adam, and I'm a movie star. This was a dream from my childhood. I felt that this was my vocation, and in every way, I tried to achieve this goal. How did I know I wanted to be an actor? It's very simple. On my 5th birthday, my grandparents took me to a concert by a singer. I didn't know him then, but he was awfully popular. I liked his songs, but I was no longer looking at him, but at the audience, their reaction, their sparkling eyes, their admiring faces. They gave him a standing ovation. Some even cried and constantly shouted his name. They showered him with gifts and flowers during the performance. It was wonderful. When I got home, I realized that I wanted the same kind of fame. I wanted to be known and loved as much as he was. So I had a goal to become a star. I couldn't sing, but I thought I was a great actor. My mother always believed me when I pretended to be ill to avoid going to school. In short, when I grew up, I took acting courses and successfully completed them. After school, it was decided to enter the Art Institute and continue their studies at their highest level. My desire was so strong that I never took a single subject. I really tried and studied. Thank you to my parents who supported my choice all these years and did not doubt my talent at all. Because of this, I felt a double responsibility and aspired to show business even more diligently. First of all, I wanted to earn a lot of money to make up for everything my parents spent on my courses, and then fame and everything else. Like a man possessed, I searched for a variety of auditions for participation, from small commercials and episodic scenes to the main roles. I didn't disdain anything. Fortunately, my appearance did not disappoint. I was a beautiful, slender guy by nature. I remember the first deal. They agreed to take me for extras in a cool series. I was happy to see my face for a full 2 seconds in the background because it was just the beginning. The search for the best role for myself, I did not stop. Everywhere I could, I left questionnaires, applications, resumes with photos. And once I was lucky. A Miss Jane called me and told me to come to the casting. The selection was conducted in a strange format. She was the only one on the jury, a red-haired, middle-aged woman, but very well groomed. She was confident she knew what she wanted. When I entered the room where she was sitting, smoking a cigarette through the mouthpiece, I realized that her way of life is a movie. I had to please her, and I tried my best. She talked to me for a long time, slowly looking at every detail on my clothes, and then said that I fit. I couldn't believe my ears. Really? After so many attempts? I finally got lucky. I was supposed to be in a movie, though not yet in the main role, but for me it was something. Before leaving, she asked me to come to an address in the evening. She said I have to come alone because she wants to discuss some more contract details. I came out elated and happy. I came home and immediately told my family about everything. They were proud of me. After waiting for the evening, I packed up and went to the address indicated. It turns out it was a large mansion. I went inside and Miss Jane was sitting in the backyard by the pool drinking whiskey. She met my gaze and asked me to sit down and have a drink with her under the pretext of celebrating my victory. I agreed. So we sat, drank, talked about all sorts of different topics. I found out that she had been married for many years, but 5 years ago, her husband left her and married a younger girl. To tell the truth, I didn't understand why she was telling me this, but just in case, I listened carefully and drank. When we were a little drunk, Miss Jane asked me to dance. We danced a slow dance around her pool. She asked me if I wanted the same house, money, and fame. I said that of course I want to, and I am ready to earn them in an honest way. Miss Jane laughed and said, "You should sleep with me, baby." I was just stunned by what I heard. But how? We have an age difference of 20 years. She's old enough to be my mother. What did you think? In show business, there is no other way. You're single, just like me, and at my age, there are only advantages. I am experienced and will not tell anyone anything, she said. In return, she promised to get me the lead role in a new movie. I said I should think it over. She gave me 2 days to do it. I must admit that I came home full of disappointment. After all, if such questions are solved only in this way, why did I spend so much effort, time, and money on training? I was suddenly offended. I can't tell anyone about this because it would mean that I could be disgraced. I spent these 2 days thinking. I leaned from one opinion to another. but the desire to become an actor did not pass. Then my grandparents suddenly came to visit us, the people who gave me this dream. They hugged me and told me that they believed that very soon they would see me in a movie on TV. I was so moved by the words that the question from Miss Jane settled itself. 2 days later, I arrived at the address I already knew and agreed. Since then, I've been her partner. And she's been my partner. Jane, as promised, beat out for me a great role in the new film. It was my debut. This is how my career in show business started. Over time, I got used to this relationship. At least Jane didn't do anything wrong for me, especially since our relationship remained a secret. So it was a profitable union for both of us. And my grandparents, as they said, did watch a movie with their grandson. I gained popularity, a good income, and the recognition of my parents. In the end, if I wasn't talented, it wouldn't have worked. A year later, Jane herself ended our relationship. We remained good friends. It was only later that I found out that she had never married and had no children. She thus brightens up her loneliness, starts a short-term affair with a rising star, and makes him a celebrity through connections. This woman is a professional. That's probably why she charges so much for her services. Despite my experience, I have worked in the field of showbiz for some time. I realize that you do not always need to pay this way if you are really talented. So I started helping the newcomers the same way Jane did, but I didn't take the payment.
Hey, my name is Monica. I know firsthand what poverty is. We were so poor that we could not afford anything extra. A birthday celebration, for example, with a cake and gifts. But one day, everything changed. Or rather, we changed everything. There are 4 of us in the family: Dad, Mom, brother, and me. My parents worked as teachers, my father at the university, my mother at school. We lived modestly, but as our father said, honestly. He and my mother were very decent people and demanded the same from my brother and me. Dad is convinced that money earned by honest work is much more important than the other way around. We didn't complain, even though we were poor. Sometimes I envied some guys, which have big and beautiful house, dogs, pool in the yard, as have some of my classmates. Each of them had their own room. The girls went shopping. They often called me, but I refused, saying that I was not feeling well. I think they understood the real reason, though they didn't show it. I was very happy that they were all very good guys and did not look at the financial situation. My little brother always asked me what my dream was, and I said I wanted to grow up and get a good job so I could earn a decent living. And I also wanted to send him to a talent show. By the way, did I tell you that my little brother Michael can sing really well? We asked him almost every night to sing us something after dinner. Michael especially loved the classics and always wanted to participate in a talent show. Once he even took a camera from his friend, recorded the video there, and sent it to that program. He passed the selection. He was invited to come to participate, but we were poor, so there was no money for the trip. I was proud of him and wanted to help with all my heart, so I started knitting children's clothes and selling them online, but I didn't have enough money to go half the way. One evening, we all got together again after dinner. Dinner was beans and broccoli again. I hated them. They were rather boring, but they were cheap products and, as my mother liked to say, useful. I watched as we ate small portions, that is, with maximum economy. The table seemed almost empty. Traditionally, after everyone had eaten, Mikey sang us another song. You should have heard him sing sensuously. He closes his eyes and feels the song. Michael always sings with soul, and it was magic. He loved to sing more than anything in the world. My mother said dreamily that if he had been on a talent show, he would have won. After loud applause, the parents discussed the news of the day, told each other funny stories with students, and then Dad said that today one of them did not prepare for an important exam in his subject and could not pass the test. His father sent him for a retake and told him to come back in a week, and the student said that this test was the last, and in a week he had to fly to Europe for a vacation. He said that if he did not pass the exam well, his parents would not let him go on vacation, and this was the dream of his life. I told him to prepare better, and he said, "You see, he doesn't have time for this." and then he takes out his wallet and asks, "How much?" I didn't understand what it was about, and then I saw that he was offering me a bribe. "Can you imagine?" my father said. Then, according to him, he escorted this insolent student out of the door and told him not to approach him with such a proposal again. Then he began to lament that now students have become quite lazy, that it is easier for them to buy everything with someone else's money. I will say right away, I shared my father's opinion about honest earnings, fully supported their point of view, but today when I looked at our modest dinner in a different way, at my brother who again pleased us with his favorite song, something turned me over. It's like I don't want to put up with what we have anymore. I could feel my anger rising. "Maybe at least once in your life you should take a bribe so that at least your son will fulfill his dream and get on with this show," I blurted out to my father. My parents were taken aback by my audacity to say such a thing, and by the fact that such a thing had occurred to me. The indignant father got up from the table and said that he was ashamed of such a daughter. I, of course, burst into tears at these words and went out into the street with a madman, slammed the door, and roared on. At this moment, my classmate Nick was passing by and he asked what was wrong. I didn't want to tell. I was embarrassed to share my problems with someone. Even though we'd been friends since elementary school, I'd never shared anything like this with him. But he sat next to me for a long time until I calmed down, and then finally got me to talk to him. Nick called me stupid for not asking for help and offered to make money by hosting a concert with my brother. "Let him use his talent and earn his way to another city and participate in the show," suggested Nick. The idea was quite simple, but we needed the help of other guys to do it. Nick, as promised, took care of everything and classmates also helped. A few days later, a music concert was held at the huge mansion of Nick's cousin, Sarah, to raise funds for Mikey. My generous classmates helped organize a mini stage, make cool lighting, a buffet for guests, and seating. It was like a dream. I couldn't believe it was really happening. Michael, when he heard this news, was very happy. He prepared a whole repertoire for the evening, took his favorite guitar, and went out to sing. I watched the reaction of people. It seems that he managed to involve the guests in his special mood. At the end, everyone gave a standing ovation. Our parents also came there, of course. My father wanted to apologize for the fact that his life principles made the family starve. "I will not take dishonest money, but I can give private lessons, thereby earning more," he said and hugged me. My father finally realized that the principles of life are important, but we must not allow people to live only by them, to please themselves and to the detriment of others. That was enough. I was happy. Well, it's been about a month since then. My father and I hurriedly cooked steaks for dinner while I washed fruit and made salad. On this day, we had a special occasion. We were waiting for Mom and Mikey. They were about to arrive from New York. Oh yes, you don't know. Mikey won the talent show.